Where is the line when it comes to showing a competitive edge in friendly matches? We saw last year in a pre-season friendly between Villarreal and Leicester at the King Power Stadium, the challenge on Wesley Fofana that derailed his season and severely disrupted his club's campaign. And we've seen some hefty challenges in pre-season that have raised eyebrows as well. Leeds teenager Archie Gray carried off on a stretcher after a challenge from John McGinn, and Leeds weren't happy about that at all. Tottenham and Sevilla players clashed at half-time when the whistle blew during their friendly match in South Korea after Gonzalo Montiel tried to confront Son after being inadvertently caught by the winger a few minutes earlier with a stray elbow. And Wolves have confirmed that winger Chiquinho will undergo surgery after suffering a serious injury during pre-season. He's going to miss a huge portion of the campaign. Darren Ambrose, when does football's pre-season friendlies get a little bit too spicy?
It's such a difficult subject because you're going in, essentially you're trying to get fit in pre-season. You're trying to avoid injury, but you are playing a football match. So you have to always have your wits about you. I mean, I learnt the hard way at Newcastle. It was my last game of pre-season. Bobby Robson was the manager, and I ended up rupturing my medial ligaments from a challenge against Rangers. Now, partly my fault. I went into a challenge that I shouldn't have done. Partly the opponent's fault. He went over the top, and and I ruptured my ligaments. But I learnt from that moment on that nothing's ever a friendly. You have to know if you're going to pre-season, say against a lower league side, and you're winning 4-5-0, you can't be taking a mick throughout the game, because these are players that want to prove that they're good enough, whether it's a friendly or not. So some of it's naivety with players, but then you think it is pre-season, they should be taking it easy. But I learnt the hard way, and I felt from that moment on, nothing's ever a friendly. You go out, you protect yourself basically at all times, and if you think you're going to get injured, don't go into these challenges.
When you say that you learnt the hard way, are you saying that the way you approached that challenge cost you in terms of injury?
Yeah, I think so. I think I was I was not fully committed to the challenge. I felt that maybe,
because it was pre-season.
Yeah, maybe I should pull out of this, but I didn't. And the opponent, I can't remember who it was, but the opponent I was playing against was fully committed, a lot more experienced than me in the football game. I was 18 at the time, but that taught me a lesson to either pull out totally if you want to stay injury free, or you have to be fully committed. How
long did you miss as a result of it?
I was 3 months out of that season, and
did it cost you momentum breaking into the
It kind of cost me my career at Newcastle, I'd say, because Sir Bobby Robson would have had me in the team. We'd already had a meeting prior to that game. I was going to be on one side, James Milner on the other side of each wing, and then he was relieved of his duties while I was still injured. Graham Souness come in. I was already injured, which is never a good sign when a manager comes in. So I kind of partly blame that to why I didn't really become a full success as I should have at Newcastle.
Yeah, the club's making a stand on this. There's some protest, isn't there, in terms of people verbally saying, we're not happy with this.
I think Thomas Tuchel did, didn't he? Yeah, when Chelsea played that game over in America. Yeah. I know that Wolves as well were very unhappy with the challenge on Chiquinho in a friendly at a training ground, actually, against Burnley, that has resulted in serious ankle ligament damage for him. He'll miss the rest of the season. And we can go right back to last year, actually, can't we? If you look at Leicester City, that injury to Fofana, and it was a dreadful tackle, I think against Villarreal, was it, in pre-season? Yep. That derailed them completely because he was such a key player for them. And actually, he'll be like a new signing when he comes back. So I do think a line needs to be drawn, because it's ridiculous that the clubs are losing influential players in effectively meaningless matches.
Yeah, you'll end up not getting meaningless matches anymore. I think you'll end up getting the tournaments, so you'll get part tournaments, so you're going into them as competitive they come. Because I mean, you can go to Jose Mourinho storm the pitch recently against Sunderland. Yeah. Sunderland are going over to play Roma, and they want to win. They want to go over there and prove to one of the best managers around that they're decent players.
They're also further along in their pre-season. Yep. They're a little bit fitter. They're going for it a little bit more.
Yeah, and Jose Mourinho wasn't happy. I think you're going to see more tournaments throughout pre-season. So pre-season tournament, but more competitive side of it, so players go out there and they compete other than just going through the motions.
Because you can't take your foot off the gas, can you? Because then you're selling yourself short and you're opening yourself up to possible injury.
I don't think you can in any sport. Look at boxing. Is there exhibitions in boxing? There's not. You're going out there, you're having a fight, and I see the same. It's not a physical fight, but it is a fight. It's a battle on the football field. You're trying to get fit. You're trying to get ready for the season, but you're still playing 11v11 over 90 minutes against another side that want to beat you.
And of course the fans are paying big money wherever they are in the world to go and watch these matches. You know, you've got sellout crowds going to watch Chelsea and Arsenal in Orlando later this week. You've had big crowds watching Manchester United and Liverpool in Bangkok. Yeah. They want to see a show. They don't want a situation where players aren't going full hell for leather.
Yeah, they want to see a show, but they don't want to see players showing off. And you look at Son Heung-min for Spurs. The whole crowd was basically there to see him. Yeah. And it didn't end too well because the player took offence to something that Son done, which wasn't his fault in my opinion. But you can't have players.
It's twice you've stuck up for Spurs in one day there, Darren. You're giving away your
There'll be plenty
cards,
more, don't worry about that. Yeah. But there's egos on the football field and players don't want to get the mick taken out of them.
OK, you're listening to Talk Sport, and it'll be interesting to see what happens over the rest of pre-season. There's not much of pre-season to go.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.